Yeah, it's about 7:56. I've got about 3 hours. I've got not 3 hours, but I've got about 8 hours and 50 minutes to go before I have to leave for work. And I'm also doing this right now because my sister and my sister and my brother-in-law, my sister and brother-in-law, I should say, are going to be coming by later to help us move an entertainment cabinet that me and my mom have that we would take with us, but basically we don't know where we would fit it in our new house, and basically pretty much it's taking up a lot of space, and we really don't have much room for it anymore, so, let somebody else have it. But with that said, I'm actually here to talk about a problem that I have with the Equestria Girls movie series. See, the problem I have with it is not the fact that they aren't good. They probably are. I just haven't had a chance to sit down and watch them. They probably are good. But the problem I have with it is, as far as I know, I'm not too sure about Rainbow Rocks. I may have to read up on that one. But 3 out of the 4 movies so far, and again, I can't include Rainbow Rocks because I don't know what happens there. But 3 out of the 4 films all had the same scenario towards the end of it. Or throughout and towards the end of it. Had a similar scenario. You had a certain character focused on a lot, and that certain character ends up becoming corrupt, and that certain character that gets focused on a lot ends up becoming corrupted by some magical power. They get turned into a dark, demonized version of themselves, and in the end, their friends end up curing them and helping them to escape or be escape the control of that power, that magic, that corruption, and end up in the end being redeemed and forgiven. We've seen that in the first one with Sunset going through it, but being saved, being rescued, and being forgiven by Twilight Sparkle, the pony who was became a human because of this. And that was for 2 films in a row. We've seen it in Friendship Games with Sunset Shimmer returning the favor to the human eyes, the human version, not a pony in disguise version, and human disguise version, but an actual human counterpart of Twilight when she was Midnight Sparkle. And now we've seen it with Twilight Sparkle, the human version of Twilight Sparkle, doing the same thing for Glorious Daisy, or whatever her name is. And again, not to give too much away, but that's basically what I've seen out of 3 of the 4 I've read up on and have seen out of 3 of the 4 movies. Now, I haven't, like I said, I've not seen the movies, but I've seen the endings thanks to Netflix, thanks to several, clips on YouTube. I've seen it. And I've read up on it thanks to Wikipedia. And there's many animation forums, MLP forums that also talk about it. So what I'm getting at here is my problem is the Equestria Girl movie series needs to change things up. They really do. Again, I can't say exactly how they ended Rainbow Rocks, but if they ended it in a similar fashion, then that basically makes it 4 movies in a row with a similar plot line and a similar ending and resolution as the first one. I mean, I get the fact that the theme is called friendship, is about friendship. I get that. So does everybody else. We get that the theme is about friendship. I get that. So does everybody else. But the thing is, you can only do so much by repeating the same result over and over again. I get that. I get that. I get that. So my suggestion is, if they're going to do a 5th movie, which obviously the ending of the latest movie kind of gives you a bit of sequel bait, if you're going to do a fifth movie and possibly make it the last movie in the Equestria Girls movie series, due to the fact that a lot of people are speculating that season 7 could be the last season of Friendship is Magic, period, and also due to the fact that it's all within the same year as the theatrical release of the movie in October of next year. If you're going to do a fifth one for next year, then you need to really change it up. You cannot repeat the same scenario, the same, you cannot repeat the same scenario with a different plot line. You cannot, repeat the same ending result that you've had for 3 out of the 4 films, that you've had for 3 out of the 4 previous films, if not all 4 previous films before the 5th one. You can't do that. What you need to do is change it up. Now, I went on the audio video I did yesterday, where I talked about in my opinion, is what I believe they should do for season 7 if it's the last season. I also mentioned the possibility of the 5th Equestria Girls movie probably being the last one to coincide with that. And to me, I think the Equestria Girls movie, the 5th one, to change things up, like I said in that audio video, needs to be somewhat like a crossover. And what I mean by a crossover is basically finally have the human versions of the main 6, or 7 in this case, or the human versions of the main 6, along with the human version of Luna and Celestia and Cadence and any other pony character, Friendship is Magic character, finally come in contact with the pony versions. In other words, have the human version of Twilight meet her pony version. I mean, yeah, they did encounter each other, from what I understand, at the end of Friendship Games, but only when Twilight was in human form. She didn't encounter Twilight as a pony. So this would be the best opportunity to do so. Another good example is finally have human Rainbow Dash encounter Pony Rainbow Dash. Same with Rarity, Applejack, Fluttershy, Pinkie Pie, Celestia, and Luna. The list goes on. Have this finally happen. I mean, if you're Hasbro and you want to capitalize on selling toys that toy packages that contain both the human and pony versions of said characters, then I say go for it. I say capitalize it all the way and make your next movie with the Equestria Girls a crossover film. Make it happen. And in my opinion, like I said in that last video, make the plot point be that the reason the magic is seeping out from the pony world of Equestria to the human world of Equestria. Make the reasoning be because of the fact that Sunset Shimmer is in the human world of Equestria, and she needs to go back to the pony world of Equestria because she's actually a pony in disguise, in a human form. That she's really a pony, an alicorn, whatever you want to call it, in human form. Nothing else. They need to do that, because if you're going to wrap up everything next year, which people are speculating on, then this is the best way to do it, especially with the Equestria Girls movie series. Now, you might be saying, well, Brian, she's kind of basically embraced being human now. She's even questioning at the end of the latest movie, where did the magic come from? And yeah, you could point that out, like maybe she's become so human, she's embraced her humanness a little bit that she's forgotten exactly where that magic could actually be coming from, that she should just zone in on it. And I think that's what the film needs to begin with. It needs to focus on Sunset Shimmer, wondering, okay, where did that magic come from that infected the cave at that camp? Where did it come from? And you need the movie to start out with her realizing and figuring out that, oh crap, it came from that portal that was torn open to Equestria in Friendship Games. Now you might say, well, that was Midnight Sparkle that did that. Yes, it was. But all this magic that seems to be just coming out of nowhere into the human world of Equestria, there has to be a main catalyst, a main reason for it happening. And that main reasoning, that main catalyst has to center around Sunset Shimmer. And I believe you should basically make the next Equestria Girls film, if it's the last one, not saying it will be, center around Sunset Shimmer being the focal point, and if you make it a crossover, where, like I say, you finally have the pony versions of the characters meet the human versions, that works out too, because then you have the pony version, the alicorn version of Celestia, who can probably understand, and her human, who can basically see eye to eye with a human version, because basically they're the same character, if you catch my drift, just in different, they're basically the same characters, similar personalities, just, different resemblances, if you catch my drift. But the thing is, you could have the alicorn version of Celestia and even the human version of Celestia agree that Sunset needs to go back. That Sunset has done everything she's done to redeem herself. She's accomplished everything she's needed to accomplish to redeem herself. Now she is allowed. Now she has the opportunity, because of that, because she's accomplished what she needed to accomplish in redeeming her, that not only has she fully redeemed herself, but now she can go home. She can go back to the pony world of Equestria as an alicorn, as a true princess, once again, as a princess of the sunsets, or whatever she'd be. But, to me, that's what needs to be done for the fifth movie. You need to do that so you switch things up and you don't keep them the same. Because if you go in the same direction as you did for the previous 3 out of the 4 Equestria Girl films, if not all 4 of the Equestria Girl films that come before it, if you still go in that same direction, with that same resolve that you have, that same, we got to save this character from being corrupted and have them be redeemed and forgiven. If you go in that same direction, okay, fine, that's good. But it basically becomes repetitive. And again, like I said, if you want to do that, fine, that's great. But do you seriously want to keep becoming repetitive? In my opinion, I wouldn't do that. In my opinion, if I was running the show, if I was writing the movies or coming up with ideas for the movies, I would not do that. I would make this a movie, if it's the last one, I'd make it sort of like a graduation film. Have the characters being ready to graduate. I know that sounds strange, but we don't know exactly what year they are in high school. For all we know, they could be seniors, right? So have them graduate, and part of that graduation is which would be a focal point of the film, is it's a crossover, like I said. And it's basically a crossover due to the fact that it's the last time, potentially, that Sunset Shimmer will be in human form, in the human world of Equestria, because the only way to keep the magic from seeping out and returning back and keeping things back on track, or balancing things back out again, is for her to go back to Equestria, to the pony version of Equestria. I know it sounds like I'm rambling here, folks, but I think that's the best solution there is. And I know some of you might say, well, Brian, they want to keep not Celestia, but they want to keep Sunset separate from the Friendship is Magic main 6, and they want to make her exclusive character to Equestria Girls. I get that. I understand that. But to me, did they do that with Twilight when it happened? No. Did they do that when Twilight, as a pony, entered that mirror portal and became a human version of herself? Did they keep it? Did they keep her like that for a while? No, she went back to Ponyville. She went back to the pony world of Equestria. That's where she went. Not once, but twice. Or 3 times, actually, if you count the ending of Friendship Games. But yeah, she did that. She did that, but now that there's a human equivalent of herself there, now that there's a human equivalent of herself there to balance things out, then there's no real need for Sunset Shimmer to be there. Because in my opinion, I think all these movies have been setting up to the fact that Sunset Shimmer is only there to not only fully redeem herself for everything she's done, but to basically make sure that that human version of Equestria, that human world of Equestria, and Chantalot and all that, has a human version of the main 6 to watch over it. And now that that has happened, now that that has occurred, I think the 5th film should center around not just probably the main 6 graduating, but around the fact that Sunset Shimmer has done what she had to do to redeem herself, and now it's time for her to go back. She's basically redeemed herself to the point that she's earned her way back home. She is now trustworthy again. She's learned her lesson. She can go home again. She can go back. And I think that needs to be the center point of the 5th Equestria Girls movie, if it's the last one, to tie in with the possible last season of My Little Pony Friendship is Magic, if season 7 is the last one. I'm just saying, in my opinion, that's what needs to be done, and especially to change things up. And if you want people to get really emotionally invested, you can make that final goodbye scene in an emotional one as well. It's like a bittersweet, it's a happy ending, but it's a bittersweet happy ending because, yeah, they're graduating, they're going their separate ways, or they're sticking together as a team. But you have Sunset now being able to go back home because she's accomplished her goal. She's done her job. She has redeemed herself. But you can make it emotional. You can get emotionally invested, but you can make it emotionally invested for people to get invested in by making it hard for her because she realizes she made friends here, but now she's got to go back to a world where not a lot of people may trust her or anything, even though she's done what she had to do to redeem herself. I'm just saying that, and to me, you have to go in this, you have to do this. It's a bittersweet ending, but it's a happy ending because one, Sunset, from her point of view, has done her job. She's given the human world of Equestria and Chantalot their main 6 to watch over them, to protect them. And at the same time, it's and even though it's bittersweet and sad for her to say goodbye to them, it's also a bit of a bittersweet happy ending because, like I said, she may have to say goodbye, but she's also being allowed to go home now. She can go back. So what I'm trying to say is I think that's what they need to do for the 5th one, and that's how they can change things up. You don't have to necessarily go in the same direction you've gone in for the past 3 to 4 movies, if not all 4 movies. You need to switch it up, and I believe if the 5th one is the last one, this is the way to go. So that's all I'm going to say, folks. Let me know what you think down below. Sorry if I sounded like I rambled, but I wanted to get this off my chest. I want to get your opinions on it. Let me know down below in the comment section, and I'll talk to you all later.